Hey, what's up, guys? MMA Breakdown back in your life. UFC 199. You got Max Holloway swinging for the fences. Just swinging. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about, did the title change? Was there a title change in this card? But I will say this. You seen the fight with Clay Guida, and Clay Guida was dominating that fight until he got kneed in the head. It looked like he went to move like bob and weave, and when he weaved instead of bobbed, like zigged instead of zagged, he got hit with the knee, and it was brutal. And I'll say this, that girl Jessie Penne, I think her name is Jessie Penne, she personally, I don't think she's that great of a fighter. You see her every time in the octagon getting bombed on. Like people raining combos after combos on this chick. I don't think she should be fighting or competing. I'm not trying to hate on the girl, but when you just get bombed on consistently, especially by the champion, Joanna Jacek whooped you, and her last fight at UFC 199, she gets whooped like that. The honest truth is, it's like she can't hang with the elite of the elite, and the UFC is the elite of the elite. So now we're gonna go into the co-main event, which was Dominick Cruz versus Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber is a striker wrestler. Dominick Cruz is a guy who throws elusive kicks, elusive punches, and moves like nobody. Like, he has weird, elusive movements. And he has pretty good takedowns, good scrambles. And he is 0-1 with Faber. And Faber is 1-1. He won one and lost one. And to be honest, truth was, they're both good fighters. Dominick Cruz has improved drastically, and Dominick Cruz pointed out something that a lot of people never said. They said, it was Dan Hardy said this. Dan Hardy said, when you look at Dominick Cruz, how much he's improved, you look at Uriah Faber, he throws a lot of overhand rights and catches guys, guillotine chokes people out, and he's notorious for getting his legs kicked. Renan Barão kicked the hell out of his legs. Jose Aldo kicked the hell out of his legs. So at the end of the day, if you can leg kick the hell out of him, you can pretty much win the fight. And Uriah Faber had nothing in this fight. I don't know if it was the elusive movement, the crazy moves of Dominick Cruz, but Dominick Cruz basically fucked him up from the start, wrestling him, landing punches, had him rocked a few times. The dude is bad. I've said before, I was never really a big Dominick Cruz fan until he fought TJ Dillashaw, and that fight, he really improved and showed me, damn, this dude's a beast. After 3 years of coming back and fighting for a title and winning, that's a dude who is passionate. That is one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. And I'll say this: the only two guys I think that could hang and bang with Dominick Cruz is Demetrius Johnson, which has fought him before and lost. But that's when Demetrius wasn't the beast that he is today. Because Demetrius is like 9-0 in his last 9 fights, just dominating. And I think Frankie Edgar is a dude that can beat him, because Frankie Edgar beat Cruz. If Cruz fought Frankie, I think it'd be a crazy fight because they both like to move a lot. But Uriah Faber, he hasn't won a fight in a title fight since his WEC days. He's 0-7 in his last 7 title fights. And in his UFC fights without a title, he's 14-1 or something like that, which is so crazy. In his last 15 fights, he's 14-1, but he's 0-7 in title fights. That's crazy. That proves to me and proves to the world that this dude is so good he can get to the title fight, but he can never win. It's the same thing like Kenny Florian used to get to a title fight and never win. There's a lot of guys that can get to that number one shot, but they just can't pull the trigger. And that's what happened in this fight. Cruz had his elusive movements and his crazy moves, and that dude just could not catch him because he would go to throw a punch and he would already be out before the punch was even thrown. So the dude is notorious, like I said, for doing these weird, crazy movements. Dominic Cruz might go down as one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the UFC or MMA in general. Dominating fighters, making fighters look horrible. And Dominic Cruz said something that stuck in my mind, that Cruz went the distance with a guy that was ranked number 15. If you're ranked like number 1 in the world or number 2, you should dominate that guy that's number 15. It's like taking Conor McGregor and having him fight somebody in the top 20. He could easily whoop him. He's just that higher up of a fighter, a better fighter, and that's what I gotta say. And then you had the domination in that fight of Dustin Poirier versus Bobby Green. He dominated that fight. That dude looks like a beast from the time he fought against Conor McGregor and lost to fighting in the 155-pound division. That dude is dominating fighters. He's 4-0 going into that weight class. So if he can make a run for the title, that'd be badass. But that dude's improving as well. So I love to see fighters who fucking improve and actually do something to up their game and not just do the same shit over and over and over that makes their predictable. That's why Conor says a lot of these fighters are very predictable, because they do the same shit over and over. And when you fight someone like a Dominic Cruz or a Frankie Edgar or somebody like Demetrius Johnson, they're not doing the same thing everybody else is doing. They're doing like this elusive movement. They're in, out, moving around, running around. So that's why they're dominating. But that's just my opinion on the UFC 199 fight card. I would say it's a 10 out of 10. But we're going to get into it right now. Luke Rockhold versus my boy, Michael Bisping. Is it just me? Or what? 2-week notice and fighters are fucking up other fighters that have full training camps. You know, that's the thing. You have Michael Bisping that beat Luke Rockhold, and Michael Bisping said it made him look easy. And there's a point when you beat somebody the first time, you kind of go into the fight like, well, yeah, I'll do it again. I'm cocky. I'll dominate the fight. So that's what happened in this fight. He got overly too cocky and got clipped. And if you notice in the fight, guys, Luke Rockhold was fighting with his chin up. And if you don't know anything about MMA or boxing, you tuck your chin, because if you don't, you get popped and you get knocked out quickly. That's why you see a lot of street fights where people get popped and knocked out, because their chin is not tucked in. But like I said, Michael Bisping's my boy. I've always thought that dude can win a title fight if they gave it to him. And Michael Bisping is an underrated fighter. A lot of people say he sucks, he's boring, he's a point fighter. Well, shit, he just won the UFC 185-pound title. With that being said, thanks for listening. As always, Michael Bisping will be defending his title. What a badass son of a bitch right there. Like I said, I've always thought after he beat Anderson Silva, I thought like back in like 2011, I was like, oh yeah, Michael Bisping in 2011, 2012, 2013, he could definitely beat Anderson Silva. And people are like, aha, you're so stupid. And now that he beat Anderson Silva and he beat Luke Rockhold and became the champion, now people are going to go, oh, that dude is something. Because a lot of people talk shit about Michael Bisping, saying he sucks, he's not that great. Well, shit, man, he's a champion. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.